The fifth position will guarantee them that they will be playing in the qualifying tournament for the Olympics next year. So Mexico is unbeaten, but lately they have they struggled a little bit to win very close games against Puerto Rico and Venezuela, while Canada, after losing their first game to Argentina, has been the most dominating team in this tournament by far. They're the most efficient offensive team, the second most efficient defensive team. They have the second best pace and rhythm in the tournament. And they are loaded right now. They are working towards becoming one of those two teams that will qualify automatically for Rio de Janeiro 2016. The introduction of the Canadians. Much has been said about their 9 NBA players, but this is a great team top to bottom. Even the 3 players that are not in the NBA are playing at top levels in Europe. And now the Mexican team is going to be introduced to the crowd as we see Robert Sackley cheering up his teammates. Not only had Mexico struggled to win the last 2 games, they have been essentially using a 7-man rotation, and they look very tired the last 2 games, especially Gustavo Ayón, their mainstay, their leader. But so last minute heroic by Paul Stoll against Puerto Rico and Jorge Gutierrez against Venezuela last night has allowed this team to still be unbeaten at this stage. Perry Mesa, who was just introduced, has not been able to play in the tournament, although the Mexicans were expecting him to be able to play this second round. Same thing with Orlando Mendez, who suffered an injury right in this tournament. Mexico is coached by Spaniard Sergio Valdeolmillos, and they are the FIBA Americas defending champions. And now we're going to be listening to the national anthems of both countries. So we're getting ready for the start of this Very important game between Canada and Mexico. Mexico unbeaten, 5-0 so far. Canada is 4-1. Their only loss was against against Argentina in their first game of the tournament. And after that, they have been blowing out the opposition. Another huge crowd in this Palacio de los Deportes for the nightcap. It has been usual when Mexico plays. Mexico with an age average of 27 years old. Canada is the youngest team in this tournament with an average of 24 years old. As we watch the referees, Cristiano Maraño in the center, Jorge Vázquez on the right, Alejandro Sanchez on the left from Uruguay. The three officials in charge of running this game. And what a game it is expected to be. And also a contrast in styles, I would say. I think that Mexico wants to play half court. As we watch the Canada team roster, coached by Jay Triano. Canada is always on the run. They try to hit you first with a primary break. If not, they run into a secondary break, and most of the time, they go straight to motion after that. Philly Scrub, number 4, comes off the bench for the Canadians as a point guard behind Corey Joseph. And for my taste, I think that this has to be the best point guard combination in the whole tournament. Although Argentina has a very good one, and so does Puerto Rico. Argentina with Campazo and Laprovito, Puerto Rico with Carlos Rivera and Jose Juan Barea. And that's the starting five for the Canadians. Corey Joseph, the point guard. Andrew Wiggins will be shooting guard or small forward.
And more, Corey Joseph showing Carlos that he's getting the hang of the FIBA game. The assist to turnover ratio is up. Kelly Olynyk is coming off a game where he had a couple of quick fouls, got out of the game, barely played. He's rested.
Yeah, but that's no problem for the Canadians. We have been talking about that the whole tournament. They go 5 deep in their rotation inside with the 4-man and the 5-man. And if they bring Nicholson off the bench or Powell or Zachary, there's no drop-off.
Jay Triano went 26-7 in his first stint as national team head coach. He came back when Steve Nash came back as the GM of the effort in May of 2012. Carlos, one little note of curiosity as we take a look at the Mexican roster with a few holes in the roster, of course, a few banged-up players for Sergio Valdomillos. In hemispheric play, Canada has beaten Mexico every single one of the 8 times they've met. Mexico has never, ever beaten Canada.
Even when they won the championship 2 years ago in Venezuela, they had only 2 losses, and one of those losses was to the Canadians.
Juan Anderson Toscano has had a nice early part of the tournament. Jorge Gutierrez really took over the offense at the end of the game. He ended up with 20 points. Gustavo Ayllón was so tired at one point, they took him out of the game in the third quarter, and he did not start the second half. Got a long rest, but ended up playing 34 minutes. This team is tired, flat out tired.
Yeah, and they try to expand, as it was Sergio Valdomillos, their coach. They try to expand the rotation to 9 players last night, but most of the tournament they have been playing with 7 or 8 players.
And we see Petty Mesa dressed in a way that gives you a sense he's not going to play tonight.
No, Mesa nor Orlando Mendez.
Orlando Mendez also out of the game with a hernia.
So essentially they have a roster of 10 available players, and they have been using 9 most of the games lately.
Ready. Heavyweight fight, and by the way, the Palacio packed to the gills at this point. Another sold-out night here. Mexico unbeaten. Canada lost their only game against Argentina. And this is as much, Carlos, about winning, keeping up the momentum as it is becoming maybe the first seed, as we see the first blood drawn by Jorge Gutierrez.
That's good news for Mexico, because he was struggling with that mid-range jumper yesterday, even though he ended up with 20 points.
Olynyk over to Wiggins for the 3. In rhythm, Andrew Wiggins. Very little about his game in this tournament has been forced. Very much part of the game, playing fewer minutes than he did in the 35 he played per game for the Minnesota Timberwolves, on his way to the Rookie of the Year honor in the NBA. Anderson Toscano played for Marquette for 4 years. No good, an offensive foul. And it's on Gustavo Ayllón, an offensive foul.
Yeah, setting the screen with the arms and then throwing Wiggins to the floor there.
It's a 20-year-old. How can you do that to a 20-year-old? The booing starts at the beginning of the possession in Mexico, but then it kind of tapers off, as you hear. Inside to Bennett. Step back shot. Tipped out, as you can in FIBA, by Hector Hernandez.
Good job by Hernandez there.
Gutierrez in a thicket, and he draws the foul, and the foul is on Corey Joseph, the captain of the Canadian team.
That was a good screen by Ayllón this time.
And a nice cut by Joseph to make by Gutierrez. Look at that cut, sideways cut. 18 seconds to shoot. Toscano, open corner three, if they can get it to him. Triple team is Ayllón. Hernandez. Virito misses the open three.
Good closeout by Cody Joseph there. He thought that he was open, but at the end he wasn't open, Hernandez.
Olynyk launches a three and it's in. Kelly Olynyk, a 2 meters 13, a 7-footer who can make the three, especially the FIBA line, which is shorter than the one he's used to in the NBA.
And we talked about this at the beginning of the broadcast, Alvaro. This is a contrast of styles.
Yes, as Paco Cruz scores, the Canadians, listen to this, Carlos, they have the second highest pace, and yet, as a team, they have a 2-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. That is magnificent. And Stauskas is part of the reason for that. He's been great at ball handling. Not this time, though. We just jinxed him. Turnover by Stauskas. Over to Anderson Toscano.
And they kind of break the mold also, Alvaro, because everybody says that in FIBA, in order to be efficient on offense, you have to play long possessions. This guy will run the ball every single time that they have a chance.
And Mexico's running a lot for a team that's supposed to be tired. In and out. Paco Cruz. Short.
Look at this.
Wiggins. Floater. It's in.
I don't think Mexico wants to get in a race with these guys. I mean,
Canada has the second highest pace of the tournament. 79 possessions per 40-minute game, only topped by Puerto Rico. Mexico, the second slowest
there you go.
pace team in the tournament with 70 possessions per 40-minute game. The net efficiency by the Canadians, almost a plus 30. Yes, plus 30. Virito Hernandez, way off.
Another good closeout. He looks like he's open, but at the very last time, the Canadian will try to challenge his shot.
Bennett launching a three. Yes, he can make threes. He did it at the Marchand Cup in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and he's done it sporadically here. They haven't needed to rely on that shot. Gutierrez tries to drive, but it's closed out by Joseph. Tough shot. It's the break, the secondary break, the offensive rebound. Oh, and if all that doesn't work, how about a three?
Yeah.
Numbers for Mexico. Ayllón back
Good
to
pass.
Hernandez.
Excellent pass by Ayllón. And they take Canada is ahead by 3, but again, even though they were efficient there, I don't know if you want to run with Canada.
Remember, when the Canadians sub, they can sub a full slate of 5 players, and Mexico just does not have that luxury. They may have 2.5, maybe 3, because one of those players will play only like 7 or 8 minutes. Joseph repositioning.
Yeah, getting closer with a fake and a dribble.
6-point Canadian lead, and now this is more Mexican tempo.
Yep.
And they're very good, if they're allowed, at having Ayllón become the point center and find guys cutting down the baseline, like right there. They didn't see Ayllón this time. Gutierrez, in and out, tapped out by the captain.
That's a rebound for Ayllón.
They ISO him. Olynyk shows up as a center field. So does Stauskas. Inside, that's what I'm talking about. Somebody cuts on the baseline.
Yep.
If you go to sleep on Mexico, they'll score that easy.
That's right, yeah. And I think that the best way to defend this is not trapping Ayllón. You double team Ayllón, he will find open people.
He's a great passer. Had a subpar game because I think he's exhausted. And he's starting Wiggins now. Oh, man, oh, man. Again, smooth, easy. Economy of movement.
8 points already for the youngster.
And he's got to love that FIBA three-point line. Love it. Runs behind the screen, and Toscano flirts with the rim. Here's Spiano looking for pace, pace, pace. Move it, move it. What can we get before Mexico sets up his defense? As they bunch up on that corner. 12 to shoot. Going left as usual, and a foul way before the shot by Hector Hernandez on Corey Joseph, the captain.
So this is a different way of playing offense in the FIBA game. I mean, this is very similar to what the U.S. does. Usually when Spain has all their players, they run like this also. So it doesn't have to be always half-court and grind it to the last 4 or 5 seconds. If you have the athletes, why not? Try to get there before the defense sets up.
Bennett, pick and pop. It's in. Now it's an 8-point Canadian lead. Past the halfway point. And now Gutierrez took a little shot. May have a stinger. No, he's actually holding up his ribs. Actually, he may be counting them, making sure that they're all there.
Yeah.
Will be playing for the Milwaukee Bucks and his mentor, Jason Kidd. Both played at the University of California at Berkeley. Kidd had him with Brooklyn, and he brought him over to Milwaukee. Tough shot for Paco Cruz. Great defense by Stauskas.
Yeah, he ran into the defense there. Sergio Valdolmillos.
A lot of liberty for Stauskas. And this is what happens.
He wants a timeout.
Yeah.
The Mexican coach, the Spaniard coach.
The worst thing you can do with Wiggins or Stauskas is to give him the right hand on a drive.
That's right.
That will build up their confidence. Look at this, right, he's going right, nobody drives him left. Thank you very much. Canada is up by 10. Let's listen in on Sergio Valdolmillos.
Well, Coach Valdolmillos was saying that he asked for a hand-to-head, which is one play.
He'd use a lot of onomatopoeia and body parts to call his plays.
And then hand-to-head, he has been calling it since the beginning of the game, and they haven't run it once. When have we run the offense that I've been asking for?
That was quite the harangue at the beginning of that
And then
timeout.
another thing is, which I think is easier said than done, big guys run back on defense and stop their bigs in transition.
Good luck. He goes, let's build on offense. Let's build possessions, long possessions. There you go. Shot by Ayon, and it's in. That's what he was talking about.
And after a made basket, they're going to go zone 2. And made basket is a 2-3 zone.
Making Wiggins go left, and he still scores. He's got a lot of room to drive.
Yeah, well, against the zone, there was some gaps, and he just attacked the gap.
Ayon looking for some back doors, but Paco Cruz is just not sharp there. Gutierrez offline. Rebounded by Olenek, looking to run. Here comes Joseph. Contact and a little head fake, and that was enough. That's a foul on Gutierrez. And that is Jorge's first, the team's third. The 10-point Canadian lead here. Here comes the revolutionary.
The whole store with that smirk, that cockiness that makes him so good.
And the unpredictability.
Yep.
Made some huge shots against Puerto Rico. Had some steals as well. Step back behind the line for Bennett as he digs, drives, fakes.
Good defense by Ayon. Great defense.
Verticality. Here comes Stoll.
He didn't go for any of the fakes.
Setting up on the left so he can drive right if needed. Moving the ball to the weak side, inside to Ayon. Nice ball movement. Over to Benito. Oh, he wanted to shoot. No confidence there. Same with Anderson. Here comes Ayon. Short. Offline. Rebounded by Stauskas.
See, what happened is that they don't have the open shots that they had in other games.
And you know the instruction from Catriano is let's run these guys out of the court.
Yeah, but see, Hernandez, whenever he thinks that he's open for a shot, there's a closeout right in his face.
And they're getting into his head that way. That's a shooter. Paco Cruz No one penetrating. Hernandez gets eyes right into Bennett. 5 to shoot. From the elbow. The youngster misses, and Olynyk grabs another rebound. Joseph. I don't know about that one. Always looking for early offense, so keep the rhythm, keep the pace. The screen was coming. Now he reverses to Hernandez, and he still can't make a three.
This was a little bit later on the closeout, but he couldn't make the shot.
Tell you what, though, when you have to run back on defense as hard as you do against the Canadians, when you get back on offense, you're just trying to catch your wind, catch your breath.
Yeah, you might be right. You may be right about that. And then Stoll trying to stay in front of Joseph.
I mean, they're making Hernandez run ragged, and Olynyk with a fake steps back in and scores, and Hernandez looks like he's in a corner being punched. With 1 minute to go, 12-point Canadian lead. And we haven't seen the reserves yet.
No, that's right.
My goodness.
And they bring that so-called second unit. It's unbelievable. You have Heslip coming off the bench. You got Scrub.
Right. Beautiful shot by Ayon, who won everything this year with Real Madrid. Everything. Preseason, Copa del Rey, Endesa League, EuroLeague, you name it. Olynyk stops, pops, and scores.
And he kept his pivot foot down. That's the reason why he didn't travel.
Former point guard, one of the most senior members of this group, only surpassed by Aaron Dornenkamp, who should be making his entry to the game late this quarter, possibly at this point, probably the second quarter. Stoll with a notion for a three, but Corey Joseph has been reading the book on him. Cruz, nothing's really wide open, but he makes the three.
Good ball movement there. Hernandez with the extra pass, and Stauskas couldn't close out on time.
Olynyk, after hesitating, is short, and that is the end of the first quarter. A great start with the Canadians setting up nice pace. They win by 9 over Mexico. And Kelly Olynyk, the former high school point guard, doing it all for the Canadians. Three-point shooting. That Paco Cruz three is the first one for Mexico in 7 attempts. Look at Canada, though. 4 out of 5. Wiggins already with 10. Looks extremely comfortable. And Stauskas already with 4 rebounds, and Joseph with 4 assists. Unbelievable. Ready for the second quarter here. Alongside Coach Carlos Morales, this is Alvaro Martin. Welcome to the raucous Palacio de los Deportes. And by the way, Carlos, if you think this is crazy, how about tomorrow night? Mexico facing Argentina.
Yeah, that should be a good one too, but it all depends on how they do against Canada tonight. I'm telling you. They can get blown out if they don't start playing a little bit better. And we were talking about the second unit. What about 5 new players on the court for Canada?
Including Melvin Edgin trying to reach for that offensive rebound, and a fine performance yesterday by Andrew Nicholson in limited minutes. A double-double, 15 points, 10 rebounds. Gabriel Giron on the court. Launches along 2. And Brady Heslip grabs the rebound. Over to Nicholson.
Nice
move. Goes all the way in, and he lays it in, picking up where he left off yesterday.
That's right. He had a very good game last night, and he got some confidence back.
Not only that, Carlos, in the post-game press conference, Jay Triano praised his defense. That's something that everybody's sort of looking at. He did have a good game on defense as well, albeit a game that was a blowout, but he played well, very well, and very productive. Philip Scrub now guarding Stoll. That's a tough assignment for Scrub. Edgem hounding Cruz. Cruz, though, from way uptown.
He made it anyways with good defense by Agent.
Scrub with a notion for a three. Dornekamp on the court as well, being guarded by Paco. Hidon fights to the screen, but Heslip opens up, and he misses this time. Rebounded by Nicholson. The best offensive rebounding team, and this is what happens when you get a second opportunity against Canada.
And you give a second opportunity to the shooter like Heslip.
Zamora drives, but he can't get the basket. Edgem picks it up, and the foul by Stoll. It will be Paul's first, and the team's first in the second quarter. Beautiful shot. Scrub, a player who will be playing professionally with the AEK Athens in the A1 League.
And there's a foul on that drive by Heslip.
Went to a couple of Summer League stints. So did Heslip, Carlos. He started with a Summer League team to get such few minutes that Jay Triano said, you know what? Come play in the Pan American Games for your country. It'll be better preparation for you on your way to Cantu, as we see Sergio Valdomillos from Granada, Spain, 48-year-old. Second time around, like Triano with his team, but in a very different circumstances, Carlos, as Heslip makes the first. And you were saying how Heslip has that well-earned reputation for being a gunslinger from behind the arc, but he's adding to his game.
Yeah, the drive to the basket. He puts the ball on the floor and he attacks hard. And most of the time, good things happen. One of them being getting fouled because he's a great free throw shooter.
And now he builds up to a 13-point Canadian lead. Nice screen by Ayon. Oof. Tipped by Heslip back into the hands of Hidon, who looks at the clock with 9 seconds to shoot. Oh, no, you don't drive among three Canadians and you kick the ball. That's what happens.
Let's see that again. He traveled. He walked.
Dave Smart, who is a tremendous college coach in Canada, winning 11 of the last 13 CIS championships. That's the equivalent in Canada of the American NCAA, as there's a foul. Again on Stoll, his second.
And he's going to be on a sportsmanlike foul.
Yeah.
He didn't like the screen that he got.
And he puts his feet down. Uses his feet as well as his body. That's 2 shots and possession for Canada. Well, Smart, Carlos, we've seen some huddles from Canada, will take the board and diagram their defense. And he's the one who's responsible for. You see number 4 back there, Phil Scrub? He's a product of Dave Smart at Carleton. What a great job they've done. Edgem takes advantage of the freebies. And now the possession, a 15-point Canadian lead. Brady Heslip cuts, but there's no back door. He drives, and this is what you were talking about. Oh!
Wow!
Edgem just tracking that ball and shoving it down through the hoop. And look at Heslip laughing. Heslip's laughing.
Well, they're happy.
Heslip may be thinking, he took 2 points away from me. That ball was going in.
Great defense by the Canadians. And just as we say that, Stoll drives by Scrub and gets fouled. And the foul will be on Dornekamp.
Aaron Dornekamp. Is he going in? Is it going in? Nah, he may have been short. Good move by Edgem.
The thing is that that's a very thin line between being an offensive goaltending.
Zamora with a dunk. Kid coming off a foot injury, as he's had on and off since 2013. Grew up in the States. Here comes Paco. It's good. He's bringing up their offense right now. And interesting enough, Carlos, they're playing with Ayllón getting extended rest.
Yep, they need to do that.
That hasn't happened in the tournament. Ayllón's been playing incredibly heavy minutes. Scrub, a three-pointer. It's in! Right-handed shooter who, when he dribbles, looks to be has a lefty stance. Zamora uses the backboard to his advantage against Nicholson.
Nice two-man game between him and Paul Stoll. Pick and roll on one side with the other three guys on the opposite side.
They trade baskets. Canada up by 16.
Look at that.
Giron with a rebound. He's pushing up the tempo. He finds Virito. No one screens for Paco. Now they do. And he launches a three. Short. And Dornekamp picks up the ball. Aaron playing in the Bundesliga.
Both the point guard and the shooting guard went running, and Dornekamp had some trouble bringing the ball down.
Back to Heslip. It's a dangerous shot.
Oh,
it's good.
Is he good or what?
Coming into this game with a reputation, and somehow he still gets open. The third best three-point shooter in the tournament has just added to its 54% three-point shooting before this one. Canada up by 19. We saw in that timeout a couple of things we have not seen in the tournament. First of all, Mexico down 19. Secondly, a quiet Mexican huddle at a timeout.
Yeah, nobody had anything to say but their coach.
And when they're up and they're kind of playing loose and fancy, as Marcos Ramos comes into the game for Mexico, Carlos, it's a Tower of Babel.
Yeah, everybody wants to talk at the same time. But see, a coach had a good point there. He said, wait, we're bringing the ball down and we are taking early shots. One pass and a shot, or sometimes no pass, and we're playing into their hands because we're falling into the rhythm.
Gutierrez also on the bench. A launch by Stoll, and it's rebounded by Nicholson. And maybe this is not the kind of moment of the game, Carlos, when Stoll, oh wow, a foul on Stoll. That's his third. He may have to go to the bench anyway, but this may not be, when you're down that much, he may not be the best point guard on the floor for Mexico. Problem is they only have two.
Yeah, they have two.
And now he has three, as Perry Mesa will not play with a stress fracture in his tibia. Oh, look at Scrub. Canada, an expert at inbounding plays from underneath their own basket.
Illegal block there.
By Edgen. Melvin, who tried out for the Nigerian national team, but left and ended up playing for Canada. Will be playing for the Orlando Magic in the preseason with a contract.
So Stoll, as you said, is going back to the bench, and Jorge Gutierrez is back in the game.
Stoll is the guy to have in a hard-fought game where points are kind of tough to come by, and he kind of changes everything, changes the rhythm, changes the patterns. Giron can't make it, and the ball goes out of bounds to Medellin. When you're down and everybody else seems to be taking the one shot without a dribble or a pass, Stoll can only reinforce that pattern.
I think you're right. I think you are into something.
I've been hanging out with you for so long. 12 to shoot. Nice pass. Giron. It's in. His father is Panamanian. His mother is Mexican. He speaks a mixture of Panamanian and Mexican accent in Spanish.
Yeah, it was funny listening to him in the press conference the other night. Wait a minute, is he Mexican or Panamanian? Because the accent, the mix of accents.
Zamora guarding Nicholson. They double team him for a second. They leave an open shooter. He resets. Scrub long. Oh, another rebound for Canada. Nicholson in rhythm. It's in.
You're right about that. He came in rhythm. He got the ball from inside out. Agent playing the strong forward position, even though his body is one of the small forward. But he's doing a heck of a job on the board.
A lot of dribbling by Gutierrez. Not a lot of passing. Finally, they open up on the side, on the wing. A lot of dribbling. He slips on the decal. Oh, get that out of here, but back in for two as it's a goaltend.
Yeah, but you see that. This is exactly what Coach Valdermillo was saying. They're just going one-on-one. One-on-one without giving the offense movement. And they were lucky here because that was a goaltending. But I don't think that that's going to get it done for Mexico tonight if they don't move the ball a little bit more and force Canada to play more defense.
High pick and roll, but Ramos denies the pass inside. Dornekamp drives right-handed, and he'll get the foul from Zamora. He will go to the line. The foul's on Adrian Zamora. You're wondering, well, what about Mexican basketball if you're seeing this for the first time? Well, you know, Mexico is a country that has 125 million people here and about 40 million migrants to the U.S. They also play a lot of basketball in Mexico, especially in the north, in Chihuahua, Sonora, Baja California.
One of two for Dornekamp.
So the problem with Mexico has been strictly a matter of the federation. A mess. We're not even going to go into that. But basically, they've been out in the wilderness for about 30 years until Valdermillo shows up and he stuns everybody, including federation people here in Mexico, by winning the gold in Caracas with essentially this score. And then, of course, they made the World Cup of basketball, ended up making the second round, which is a tremendous achievement for the first time in 40 years in the Worlds. And then they have to play the U.S. in game one of round two. And they were tough, but the U.S. had just way too much firepower for anybody in that tournament. From the free throw line, Gutierrez misses. And Wiggins back on the court brings it up for Canada. And Giron almost stripped them.
Great anticipation by Giron.
Nice bounce pass by Wiggins so Canada could keep it.
He just anticipated where Wiggins wanted to go with that dribble. He knew he wanted to go right. And he almost stole it from him.
3 minutes to go in the half. Joseph back on the court. Zamora trying to drive edge him to the left. Nicholson against a youngster, Israel Gutierrez. And Marcos Ramos picks up the rebound off the floor. That's when you know you've done a great job boxing out. And you pick it off the floor. Giron taking a lot of shots in this game, Carlos, and a lot of early shots.
Yeah, that's right.
Wiggins being driven left, but he's stripped by Giron. And Nicholson commits the FIBA foul.
But they didn't call it. Just out of bounds.
Yeah. Ball apparently stripped out, not fouled, out of the hands of. That's a foul.
And Giron cannot believe it.
That's a foul.
He can't believe it, and nor do we.
That's a foul in any league.
Yep. You're right.
It's got to be the altitude and the thin air.
I think the referees were out of position because Giron went so fast to the basket that they couldn't get there.
Giron, a lot of dribbling, backdoor pass. Ramos left his feet without a notion. Oh! Foul to stop the fast break, and Wiggins will feel that one. Giron with the foul, his first.
He was ahead of Wiggins.
Check that, it's his second. And now, of course, they're over the limit. So Andrew will go to the line. Not sure what the book is on him in the NBA, Carlos, but in FIBA basketball, the worst he can do to this young man, or to Stauskas, is allow him to drive with his right hand for a good stretch of the court or near the basket.
Well, you know, if he goes right, he will try to get all the way to the basket, as close to the basket as possible, and maybe end up with a dunk or a finger roll. If you force him left, most likely he's going to stop and take a mid-range jump shot.
which he's pretty good at making.
Yeah, but I would prefer him forcing him to make that shot than letting him go all the way with his right hand to the basket.
Gutierrez to Gutierrez, no relation. Jorge, he had Israel down low. Oh, another move by Ejim. What a leaper. Another productive player off the bench for Canada. Hesep all alone. And Israel grabbed the rebound.
They dodged a bullet there, the Mexicans did, because you don't leave Hesley.
In the last game, in 11 minutes, Melvin Ejim took 8 rebounds against Puerto Rico. Gutierrez not a three-point shooter, even with the FIBA line.
He has no confidence in his three-point shot.
Ejim dunks it. One ball to Wiggins, one pass ahead, one dribble. That's all it takes.
That's all what it takes, yeah. And he's asking for a substitution. I said, okay, I already dunked a couple of passes.
There is a nice oxygen mask behind both benches.
Right. So let me get a little bit of that, and somebody come into the game and do my job.
Let me get a little pop. Oh, Hidon is struggling right now, struggling badly. And the Canadians are just focusing on Gutierrez because they fear everybody else will not be as dangerous. Same spot, different outcome for Nicholson.
Never rolled to the basket. He waited for the ball to get to be passed to Ejim, and he got it back to him, to Nicholson for the three-point shot.
Again, no pass. A shot by Gutierrez, rebounded by Zamora, and he's fouled by Ejim. No passing going on. Very ragged basketball. Not exactly how Valdeormillos took the team to win at the World Qualifier in Caracas in 2013.
He said it in a couple of timeouts, and I agree with him. They are playing into the hands of the Canadians. The more possessions in this game, the more this is going to become a blowout.
And Ayon continues on that bench. I'm surprised.
Well, he said also in a press conference a couple of days ago that after winning the first games, this was the time to give the team a little bit more rest.
Well, then you can see the game.
Well, you have players out there.
A bit of a zone for Canada right now. Israel Gutierrez, the youngster, over to Jorge Gutierrez, and he makes a shot off a pass, off a touch in the paint. A little bit of offense here for Mexico.
Canada now is going to play for the last shot, although there's a 1 second difference between shot clock and game clock.
With a 20-point lead. High screen, and the foul on Corey Joseph. And they will go to the line as Mexico is over the limit. The Mexicans didn't like that, and Gutierrez and Valdeormillo are jawing with the referees, and the referees are just warning them. They will brook no backtalk in this tournament. And again, that slur right at the moment of release by the Mexican fans. It's a holdover, and they brought over from soccer, from football fans, which is so unfortunate. Basketball folks, basketball media we're asking fans, don't say that. Don't bring that up here. By the way, the Canadians do not understand a word.
They couldn't care less.
They could not care less. A foul. No. Yeah, a foul. One referee almost called the travels.
The foul was before the shot.
Yeah.
And they had one to give, the Canadians. So a little less than 2 seconds for Mexico to put that ball up now.
1.6 seconds for the end of the half. Anderson Toscano will inbound. A fake, a tough shot, and that is the end of the half. It's a 22-point Canadian lead, and the Mexicans right now are terribly frustrated. Can't blame them. 52-30, Canada over their North American allies, the Mexicans, as they will go to the break. And Ayon again with another extended break, the end of the second quarter, all of halftime, 15 minutes, and then we'll see if he starts the second half.
Right.
In the last few games, Carlos, another sign of the Canadian prowess is how steady they've become in scoring by quarter.
26 per quarter right now.
Yesterday's game, they were 28, 29, 28. Very even. And again, the three-point shooting by Mexico. Not there, but it's not there because you're not playing offense. The ball's not going in. The ball's not getting out. Nobody's screening. And they're getting overwhelmed by Canada, and they're getting desperate.
The second thing that happens there, which is you start blaming the referees. The referees have nothing to do with this. This is an old-fashioned blowout so far because the other team is just out-hustling and outplaying you.
Only 4 turnovers for Mexico, but it's their shot selection that's been very, very poor. Wiggins with 11 for Canada. He had 10 in the first quarter. Cruz with 10. Where's Ayun? Where's Gustavo Ayun? Nowhere to find. Toscano leading the rebound category. Stauskas with 4, all of them in the first quarter. So Mexico will have to face Argentina tomorrow. The Canadians will face the Dominican Republic. That will be another desperate team. As we look at Gutierrez opening up the scoring, and then Wiggins getting Canada lead. A lead they never relinquished after that. Look at Kelly Olynyk. Comfort. Paco Cruz with the early offense for Mexico. Trying to keep him in the game. Nice fast break. Give and go. Hernandez lays in. You have to spend so much defensive attention inside. The perimeter's going to be open.
Exactly. They have so many weapons that you cannot close every door.
And they're all good shooters, Carlos. And by the way, they're all shooting well, each of them tonight. Ayun with a nifty little shot. Remember that 3 by Olynyk? That's why you have to close out. Opens up the inside game.
With 2 seconds on the shot clock. And then look at how he kept his pivot foot down.
Anchor.
Yeah, so he wouldn't travel.
Paco with a 3. He'll be playing in Latvia next week.
You got to be action. He made a 3-pointer from the right wing and now a 3-pointer from the left wing.
And then Brady Heslip and the dunk by Melvin Edgins. So Mexico down 22. Ayun getting basic, significant rest. We'll see what they have in the second half as Canada beats Mexico by 22. The second half about to start as Canada stumping Mexico by 22. That's our largest lead of the game. And Carlos, we were wondering if you could be a fly on the wall in that Mexican locker room. We did notice that they came out to the court so late that the majority of the team barely got didn't even get a shot to warm up for the second half.
Right.
What does that tell you?
They spent the whole 15 minutes in the locker room. So that means that the coach was getting on them very, very hard.
We'll see if they can mount some sort of a comeback, maybe make the game respectable. We'll see how much they use Ayon. Carlos, is it too early or too late now for this game to be won by Mexico? Is it a matter of let's worry about tomorrow?
No, they still have a chance. I mean, but they will have to improve their game so much.
They just have to play basketball. They're forgetting to play team basketball, and they're making it easy for the Canadians.
Right.
Playing into their strengths, driving into a double and a triple team. Ayon will start. It's their first half starting lineup without any changes. Same for the Canadians. And while Jay Triano tinkered a bit in the Marchand Cup, Carlos, with his starting lineup, he's settled on this group. There you go, extra pass. Olynyk way outside. Ayon makes the hook shot. Hernandez made Kelly Olynyk go all the way out to the three-point line, and he opened up some room for Ayon. That's team basketball. Inside. And they wanted to do an alley-oop, but again, what footwork by Kelly Olynyk.
Even though there was a guy in the middle that wouldn't allow the spectacular play, Olynyk was able to gather the ball, gather himself, and make the easy score.
And I think he was surprised a bit by that pass. Gutierrez sent left against Bennett, and over Bennett he scores. So they cut down the lead by 2. It's down to 20 now. Bennett with an open 3. Rebounded by Ayon.
Good box out by Anderson Toscano there on Olynyk.
The Canadians had a total of only 2 offensive rebounds in the first half. Normally a Canadian strength. Again, they drive him left into the help, then outside to Hernandez, and he's offline. Didn't even draw a rim.
Completely offline.
Benito Hernandez had such a fine three-point shooting game last time out, but he's coming and going, Carlos. Remember, in Toronto, he injured himself looking for a ball, fighting for a ball at the end of an overtime win by Mexico. That was the only game they won. After that, everybody got injured, including Hernandez in that play, jumping for a ball. Foul before the shot, Hernandez.
The foul on Anderson Toscano trying to stop Wiggins on that drive.
Was one of the heroes against Puerto Rico, making 6 of 12 three-pointers. How about Heslip? 7 of 13. 7 three-pointers. Wiggins driving right, force left, bad pass. Gutierrez with the steal. Over to Cruz before the Canadians get there, but it's blocked by Kelly Olynyk. Check that.
They were asking for a goaltending, but I don't think
they reverse the Stauskas.
Wow.
That's simple.
That's too easy. I mean, that's the way they run their offense.
That's simple.
Nothing complicated. They don't have to go through the 4 and the 5 and the feet and the hand to chest. No, run them out of the court. And if you're open inside, get the ball inside. If not, get it to your shooters.
No look pass to Anderson Toscano, inside to Virito. Driving against Olynyk. Tough shot, draws the foul though. And for Kelly, that will be his first. He had foul trouble in the last game, not tonight. That's his first. Team's first. A little bit more life for Mexico though.
Yeah, they run the court.
You know what? I don't think Olynyk touched that ball.
See that cross-court pass? Because Bennett was gaining a lot of attention inside.
And Corey Joseph has 5 assists already, along with 3 rebounds and 4 points. As Hernandez plays for Pioneros de Cancun. Remember, the Mexican League does not have a team in Mexico City. A city, if you include the suburbs and the adjoining states, is a city of 25 million people, which is just a little bit under the Canadian population. Canadian population up around the 35 million range. Nice hesitation move by Joseph. Boy, does he like going left. Now we have 2 Mexican players who tangled, and that's the last thing Mexico wants to see.
That's right.
Toscano, one of their most athletic, if not the most athletic, crashing with Gutierrez, who's another great defender. Triano head coach Steve Nash in the late 90s, early aughts, to what was a great, great Canadian team. Todd McCullough was part of that team. Sam Dallenberg was part of that team briefly. He just didn't mesh with that team at all. Eventually, they essentially took him out of the national team. Jerome Barrett on the left, Steve Nash on the right. As soon as they got a chance to get back in charge, first thing they did, bring back the old gang, bring Triano in.
Let's see that injury again, or that crash between two players, but they are right. You were looking at Nash and Barrett. How about that guy behind Barrett that we have been seeing on every single game in this tournament?
Mr. Flor Melendez.
Yeah, he doesn't miss a game.
Olenek protecting the rim.
One of the best FIBA coaches in the world.
He coached Argentina in the Worlds, 1986, right?
Yeah. He coached Puerto Rico. He coached Panama.
Argentines credit him with teaching them defensive rigor. Pass. Ayon makes it all the way. A little stroll through Chapultepec Park for Gustavo Ayon. Father is about -98, about 6'6", tall man himself. Horns for Canada.
Good trap. That's a good trap there by Hernandez.
Olenek outside to Wiggins. It's in.
With 2 seconds on the shot clock. So you force them to play a little bit longer possession. They still have the weapons.
And again, but when you double, Carlos, you mentioned that earlier. When you double them, they'll find that open guy, and that open guy has...
See, but the thing is that you have to start doing something with that pick and roll. So they try to do...
blitz it.
Blitz it a little bit, and they pay the price.
Cruz loses the handle, and Stauskas comes up with it. 5 turnovers per team. Joseph has a shot, floats.
See, now they didn't trap him, and he has an open lane. I don't think I have seen a situation where the phrase "select your poison" applies more than here.
In FIBA basketball. And the thing about it, Carlos, you know what the scariest stat for Canada is? It's not that plus 30 net efficiency. As Paco Cruz burns it from way uptown. The scary stat for Canada is this. 23.8. Average age. Stauskas. It's in.
Wow.
If they meet Argentina, a team they beat in Puerto Rico in a tough game, they lost to here in a tough game in the opening round, the only loss for Canada so far. If they meet again, Carlos, that will be the gauge of exactly how much progress they've made. As Ayon one-hands that offensive rebound. Virito Hernandez facing the basket. Oh, slumping. Back to Bennett, stripped by Hernandez with 19 to shoot. Adrian Zamora and Paul Stoll in for Mexico. Hernandez, and I think Gutierrez will be stepping out. And for the first time in this game, Dwight Powell comes into the game for Canada. Energy guy, rebound guy, and he will score 10 points if you're not careful.
Yeah, that's right. You don't pay attention to him, he'll get 10 points on you very quickly.
Super fast going to the basket. Joseph tries to find them. Ayon intervenes, and off the floor comes Anderson. Nice screen by Zamora.
Yeah, good decision by Toscano. Stopping right behind the screen for that short jumper.
Not known for his three-point prowess, but that's certainly within range for him. Look at Stauskas dribbling left, Carlos, with his left hand. Skill, 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 everywhere you see in this lineup.
Whoa.
Joseph, turnaround shot. And a rebound again in the hands of Ayon, and Joseph stays behind the stanchion. It's 5-on-4. Let's see. Over to Ayon. Outside to Stoll for the three. Yes!
They took advantage of that 5-on-4. They moved the ball with patience, knowing that somebody had to be open.
Joseph may be coming out of that. Indeed, I think Philip Scrub comes up to replace him. Wiggins. Oh, moving left, curling out for the three. He's got that shot already under his wings.
He's got some talent. Is that an understatement?
Yeah.
When you see Wiggins has, you say Wiggins
I'll tell you what talent he's showing in this tournament, Carlos. Restraint. He's not forcing anything. Not a pass, not a behind the boxer out rebounds where he commits the foul, not a dribble. He is just fitting in.
Yes.
And he gets shoved by Toscano, gets a foul.
See, if I wanted to find a word in his game, his passing is not quite, like for instance, that backdoor play that he ran with Cody Joseph, he should have waited for one more second and Cody Joseph would have been wide open. He passed the ball almost to the defensive player.
And you know, Carlos, if there's a player in the Canadian team that's used to Mexico City in the altitude, it's Wiggins. And he misses a shot. He played here an NBA regular season game with the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, you got to be kidding me. That was almost a year ago.
Nice pocket pass from Israel Gutierrez.
Nice move.
Oh, he still makes the bucket after the contact with Olynyk. It looked for a while like it was going to dunk. Olynyk shows up, and he gets the lucky bounce.
Very nice move by the biggest Gutierrez.
Mexican college basketball player called the ABE. A foul on Anderson Toscano, and he's piling him up. He's got three now.
No, that foul is on Zamora, I think.
They're going to give it to Zamora? Yes, the second on Zamora. I have to say, they were generous. Look at that move on Powell, and here comes Olynyk. All right, so you solve Powell, and now you got to worry about Olynyk. Gabriel Giron back on the court. Scrub misses. Dornicamp rebounds, saves it. Stauskas, that's an easy shot for him. That's a layup for him. And he looks at Steve Nash, who gets up and pumps his fist in the sideline. Nash is suffering through these games, loving every second of it. Brow furrowed. Inside to Zamora, it's good.
Good pass by Stahl. Now Stahl with a three-point shot and a nice assist. He might get in the game and do what you were talking about in the first half. Give them some change of pace, some energy.
The revolutionary. But they're still down 23. Make that 25. Is he a lefty or a righty?
Oh, he's ambidextrous. He's a great basketball player. That's what he is. I'm so amazed. I'm so surprised because I just met this guy this summer.
When you watch him play in the Marchand Cup in Puerto Rico.
Exactly.
It looked like he may have not secured the spot. Well, guess what? He did in San Juan. Foul.
If Murray would have been here, the kid that went to Kentucky, 18 years old, maybe the odd man out would have been this guy.
And let's not even talk about Tyler Ennis' shoulder injury. He played for the Milwaukee Bucks, or Trey Lyles with a leg injury for the Utah Jazz. You know, they're talking about cutting NBA players.
Well, they will have to.
They will have to in Rio. If they go to Rio, they're going to have to cut.
If they have 17 or 18 players and all of them want to play, they have to come to a tryout, and some of them are going to have to be cut, just like the U.S. do.
Not even Spain has that privilege.
Not even France.
Stoll.
Or Serbia, for that matter.
Whoa, a wipeout rebound by Powell. 1 minute to go. Cross court. Stauskas all alone. Tipped out by Gutierrez. Stahl with the ball. He's got Anderson up front, but Powell put a finger on that ball and undid that fast break. Again, Powell. That will not show up in the stat sheet. Mexicans are all bunched up. And Anderson drives in and he's fouled. I believe by Powell.
See, the Mexican fans are very similar to the U.S. fans. You see a guy doing a fancy move with the dribble, and even though he's not going anywhere, everybody goes, oh, whoa.
That's the NBA influence, Carlos.
Yeah, it is.
Mexico. As a matter of fact, Valdiol Millos got replaced by Bill Cartwright, who was visiting here to promote that Minnesota game. And they found him apparently and said, hey, you want to coach? He said, yeah. And they asked him in that press conference, how are you going to coach that team? You're going to live in Mexico? So, nope, they're going to send me video to Chicago.
Yeah,
that was a mistake.
That didn't work out.
Yeah. Powell misses. Valiolmillo's back, though, because Ayon basically said, look, I'm the ticket here. I'm the one selling tickets.
They asked him, what does it take for you to come back to the team? He said, well, very simple. Hire back Sergio.
Which is about the last thing the sparring federation people wanted. They don't like each other. And they're open, clearly expressing their distaste as Giron nails a three at the buzzer. So it's back to a 22-point lead. The Mexicans and the Canadians tie in the third quarter. And we will come back with the fourth quarter at the Palacio de los Deportes. Mexico's unbeaten streak on the line against Team Canada. Look at Canada's three-point shooting. I mean, it's even higher than the two-point shooting. I mean.
What do you mean?
Free throw shooting. I mean.
Tell me what you really mean, Alvaro.
How do you start against this bunch? And Carlos, you and I have seen that over and over again in Olympics and World Cups. NBA players that spend the summer playing FIBA basketball have to learn certain things, and I would say fundamentals, that when they come back to the league, two things happen. You know, that was a perfect setup, Carlos, to keep viewers hanging. Two things that happen typically when NBA players spend their summer playing in FIBA basketball. Number one, they get sharper in fundamentals. Number two, Carlos, they bring tremendous confidence. Let me tell you something. The fact that you can set up a zone against NBA players really takes them out of their game and what they know. And all of a sudden, they got to do a little more reading of situations. And it helps them when they come back.
For 2 years, I have been hearing that Anthony Bennett, being the first pick of the draft 2 years ago, has been a huge disappointment. I am almost about to predict that he's going to have a great season this coming year.
You're putting a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
on Flip
but
Saunders.
I'm not talking about being Anthony Davis.
No, I'm not saying Anthony Bennett. You're putting a lot of pressure on Flip Saunders.
Why?
Not to spoil.
Well, Wiggins and Bennett should be the future of that franchise with Ricky Rubio.
Imagine that. Teammates in the national team. Teammates during the NBA season. As Dornenkamp tries to get an opening, he gets it against Giron. They post up Nicholson. Oh, Heslip with a screen by Edgem, and no good. Isel Gutierrez grabs the rebound, Carlos, and he keeps it all above his shoulders. Giron. Oh, look at Edgem. The putback and the putback by the youngster Gutierrez.
Gutierrez did it at both ends of the court. Rebounding on the defensive end, running the court, and putting the garbage in its place.
22-year-old from Culiacan. Heslip denied by Zamora. Edgem driven left.
Good defense by Toscano there.
But here's Nicholson. He's short on the dunk attempt. Up front to Stoll. Cross court to Giron. Inside, Gutierrez, and it's stripped by Edgem. No foul by Stoll. He's got 3 fouls, and now he commits the 4th. No, out of bounds, says Alejandro Varela from Uruguay.
Again, the referees were out of position. They couldn't see that.
That looked to be less contact with the player, more with the ball.
Yeah, but Alejandro Varela wasn't in front of the play.
But did you notice how Stoll didn't want to commit that 4th foul?
Yeah.
Only 5 fouls will get you out of the game in the FIBA game, in a 40-minute FIBA game. Heslip off the dribble. Rebounded by Giron. A little ragged play on defense by the Canadians. With this second unit. Stoll to Zamora, cutting from the weak side.
Great pass by Stoll. Yeah, he's giving them that edge. I'm talking about Stoll.
He likes to change the axis of a play a lot, Carlos. Drives one way, passes or shoots the other. He reverses things. That's why you call him a revolutionary. Nicholson, nice fake, and now he loses the ball, and he's fouled by Adrian Zamora. He'll go to the line.
So the good news for Mexico is that they're winning this second half by 4 points. The bad news is that they are still down by 18.
Valdolmillos. And you see Orlando Mendez on the right had a hernia, essentially, some sort of muscle tear. We thought for a while he'd be out of the tournament. Valdolmillos said he may be back. As Nicholson will miss the free throw. Andrews from Mississauga, and last season with Orlando, he made only 60% of his free throws. He makes a second one.
He makes one, and that's the first point by Canada in this fourth quarter.
6 points, 3 rebounds, and assists for Andrew Nicholson. Will be joining Melvin Ejim in the Orlando Magic lineup for the preseason under new coach Scott Skiles. Stoll. Oh, look at Quidon, he traveled.
He did travel.
We saw that one on the radio.
And he's arguing with the referee. I can't believe that. That's a jump stop and another 2 steps, and he still argued the call.
Dornekamp not looking for his own shot, Carlos. Early or late in the possession. Nicholson hooks it.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
against
Nice.
Gutierrez.
He took him a little bit closer to the basket, and then that one-handed hook.
Dave Smart immediately with a defensive instructor. Nice shot, Andrew. And he goes, open your arms. Open your wingspan. In case they pass through the paint. Stoll. Floats it. Oh, banks it too. The master of all tricks from Michigan.
5 points for Paul Stoll now, but he's been making some good passes.
His dad coached him well. Ejim. The 3 was not open. The penetration, not quite. Now an open 3 by Nicholson. And a foul. And it's on Aaron Dornekamp.
Yeah, Dornekamp.
19-point Canadian lead. Ayon teaching his pupil, Carlos. Ayon, when he was released by the Atlanta Hawks, he came down to Mexico and he called Peri Mesa and used Israel Gutierrez as a guy he could practice against. And they develop a nice bond. Still with a notion for a 3. The drive off the strong hand, he's stripped by Dornekamp. Mistake by Anderson. Scrub left everybody behind. And again, Stoll didn't want to foul him.
Yeah, he got those 3 fouls, but
at some point, it doesn't matter.
You got to stop the
with
fast break, right?
6:15 to go in the 4th.
Yeah.
Deflected by Ejim. Back to Zamora, who launches a 3, and it's in! 18-point Canadian lead.
In the first round, he very seldom played Zamora, but he has been playing very well coming off the bench, especially since the game against Puerto Rico 2 nights ago.
Oh, he showed up at the end, but he was a factor. Nicholson, another 3. And we have a 3.
And a foul on Ejim.
And a foul on Ejim. The ABE, college teams in Mexico played each other, but now they found it essentially a national league. And they're trying to actually get some TV exposure. Remember, not even the pro league in Mexico gets national exposure. They do it on a state-by-state basis. It's not even on cable. And there isn't a team here in Mexico City. That's why for these fans, Carlos, to watch a good Mexican team is so much fun. They haven't seen that in about 25 years. So, with another 3, and all of a sudden, a little pulse here.
Yeah, back to 18 points.
Yeah.
So they are, again, winning the half by 4 points.
Of course, the Canadians have their second unit on. Ejim.
It doesn't matter. There's no second unit. These guys can blow you out of the court in the next 4 or 5 minutes.
Stoll, a little contact, and it's rebounded by Ejim.
That was the same shot, different result.
Oh, a foul. That was basically a shove, and Ramos doesn't even pick up Nicholson. That's bad form. Wiggins back in, Joseph back in. Scrub, Dornenkamp will take a breather. You know what we haven't seen today, Carlos? Heslip and Stauskas together. Talk about picking your poison.
Yeah.
We've seen that before.
We have, yeah.
And Joseph is learning the FIBA game, learning how to make the most of it.
Check this inbound
play.
Yeah.
Canada's really good at him. Maybe not this time.
Mexico defended it well.
Wiggins, jump shot. Another huge rebound by Gutierrez.
Gutierrez is tall, but he can, and huge, but he can jump.
They were afraid to put him in the court, on the court against Puerto Rico, not so against the Canadians. They probably needed size and athleticism at a premium for Mexico. Stoll, nice fake, repositions. Bang! 15-point Canadian lead. And now Jay Triano saying, wait a minute. And by the way, Ayona's been resting in case they need him.
Right, they tied the third quarter, and now they are losing, Canada is losing the fourth quarter by 7 points.
It is a sold-out crowd, but as far as the actual physical attendance, it's 15,800, and for this tournament, it's a record.
It's a new record for FIBA basketball. The first record was established a couple of nights ago, and it was 14,400.
FIBA Americas.
FIBA Americas, right.
Let's listen in, if we can. Talking about repositioning yourself off of penetration for an open three in case it's needed. Carlos, we have not seen Triano as relaxed and as confident in his team's ability as we're seeing him in the last 48 hours. Even this is timeout, it was a matter of settling the team down,
right,
reminding him a few things, but the tone, the demeanor.
You know what? The team and the way they have been playing lately gives you that type of confidence.
He was a little bit more active in the match team in Toronto and in San Juan.
And he was in the first game against Argentina where things were not working that well for him and his team. But after that, ever since that game, they have been giving clinics, basketball clinics here in Mexico City to the opponents.
Halfway point, past the halfway point in the fourth. Stauskas in. Wiggins back in again. Double screen for Stauskas. Hook shot with the left hand for Andrew Nicholson.
What a move by Nicholson there.
You know what I like about Nicholson right now? He's not rushing anything. I'm going to do it my way, my style, my pace, what I feel comfortable, and it's working. Zamora with a long two, short. And Hiron grabs the offensive board. You would think, Carlos, that the Canadians would be blowing Mexico out on rebounding. Not so. It's about even. Israel Gutierrez with a hook shot, and the ball comes out of the hands of Ejim, but he recovers it.
I like this kid. Gutierrez is showing me that he can do different things on the court. Of course, he's just backing Gustavo Ayon, who's the best center for this team and maybe for the tournament.
Wiggins, maybe, Carlos, the way he's posting up numbers.
Yeah, but numbers don't tell the whole story because, as I said, this is a five-headed.
Oh, look at this. Almost made the basket, gets a foul.
That's a five-headed monster right there in Canada. They have 5 guys that play the center position, and and they do it so well.
It's Olynyk.
Then you have Scola playing the center position for Argentina. So you can say arguably the best center in the tournament.
Nicholson to the line. He scored 13 points, got 3 boards, and 1 assist. Again, just when they cut the lead, you could see, we saw Mexico down by 10, getting anxious and playing right into the Canadians' hands. Right now, Canada just needs to settle down and look at the demeanor, which is normal by Andrew. Not a guy that's very demonstrative, doesn't look very energetic, but he's getting the job done in a major way here and gaining confidence. He lost it somewhere along the way in the Marchand Cup in Puerto Rico.
That's right.
Maybe it was the heat and the humidity. Stoll. Shaking and baking. Pocket pass. Contact. Offensive foul by Gutierrez. And guess who took it?
Nicholson.
Ayun's right eye got poked in the first game. He's still recovering from that.
See, if this result holds, tomorrow's game is going to be very, very important. That game between Mexico and Argentina.
Because then you could conceivably have all 3 teams with 1 loss.
Check this. If Argentina wins, they will finish in first place.
And they will face a 4th team.
So that sends another duel between these 2 teams. But if Argentina loses and
offensive foul by Corey Joseph as he fell on top of Stoll.
And this margin of victory holds. That means that Canada is going to finish first. And if that happens, Argentina and Mexico are going to be facing each other in the semifinal.
And right now, coming into this game tonight, before the start of this game, the one everybody wanted to avoid was Canada.
That's exactly right. Best case scenario for Argentina, for instance, is winning their game so that they face the 4th place team and they force Canada and Mexico to play against each other.
Oh, a strip by Edgem. Back in the hands of Zamora. Nice move by him. He got poked in the eye, too. 15-point game. Now time, though, is running out. Or should I say out for Mexico. No screening going on. They're trying to post Nicholson. Nope. Corey up and under.
No,
not in time. No good. Nice move by Stoll.
And Joseph had the ball in his hands when the shot clock expired. Now Argentina beat Canada by 7 points.
If there's a 3-way tie, you're looking at the point differential between the games.
Between the 3 teams
the
involved.
3 play each other. As we see the basket by Marco Ramos. And the point spread, as we know, that cost Valiolmillo a 1-game suspension and an $8,000 fine, US dollar fine, is important here.
Yeah, but he was so worried about a team that ended up not making it to this round, Brazil.
They won the game in which he was absent, as we see Corey missed. And here's Melvin Edgem once again putting the ball right through the hoop.
Yeah, the garbage man.
Oh, don't call him that.
The garbage man, putting the garbage in its place.
The waste management guy.
Waste management engineer.
Oh, watch out. Wiggins. Nice move. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you.
There's Edgem. CEO of waste management and high percentage shots. Nice screen by Zamora. Back to Gutierrez, who had a notion to dunk.
Yeah, he wanted to dunk it, but he was too far away.
I've been playing a lot of minutes, maybe not. He gets the basket, though.
I think he was too far away from the basket.
Stauskas back in the game.
Putting a lot of pressure on Stauskas.
Attack and a foul by Gutierrez. Carlos, you saw yesterday in the Canadian game, towards the end when they were just absolutely blowing the doors out of Uruguay. They beat them by 27, if you see the play again. And there's a little discussion going on underneath by the free throw line. A little separation here among NAFTA partners. Carlos, you saw a play that Triano called late in the game, 4th quarter, that he took from Tex Winter's triple post offense.
Oh yeah, well they ran one of those moves where the ball went to the corner. There was a back pick for the wingman, and then the guy who set the back pick was setting a pick and roll at the corner, That's a move from the triple post offense.
We also did not see Heslip and Stauskas together on the court. Maybe those are the kind of things that they're saving for Argentina, or maybe later on Mexico.
Yes.
We did not see any of that, of course.
They didn't call any plays. I don't think they called one play tonight. They went from primary break to secondary break to motion offense.
And that's enough to build up a 18-point lead. The Canadians have won their last 5 games by an average margin of 29. This has got to be a letdown. Only 19 points, Carlos. Last minute of play. And for Mexico, the first defeat in this tournament. Mexico's been trying to win these games any which way they can. They've had some tough fights in their hands. Carlos, they've been using a very short rotation, and maybe tonight it didn't help one bit as Ejim wraps up his scoring probably with 22 seconds to go. Ejim with a nice game. 3 fouls, but 12 points.
And now Mexico's going to play for the last shot of the game.
That's not in their benefit.
Why not?
Point spread.
Well, that's exactly right. You don't want to give another possession to the other team.
And Stoll just completely confuses himself. He is, a little difference of opinion between Ejim and Ayon. Right in front of the Mexican bench.
See, that's uncalled for. You're looking back. You're looking back twice. You're getting blown out of the court, and now you want to fight the other team? Come on, man.
Look who the peacemaker is. Last seconds, and that is it. The Canadians beat the heretofore unbeaten Mexicans 94-73, and the table is set for a possible 3-way tie at the top of the heap in the 2015 Olympic qualifier, as we still have some extra join going on in what should be a everything is forgiven conga line here in Mexico. Both teams getting close to each other near the circle, and the Mexicans make sure they keep the center court. The Canadians don't mind. They got the win. That's all they care about. Another impressive win for the Canadians, Carlos, and it wasn't even that close.
Yeah, well, Mexico won the second half by 1 point. Is that good news for them?
Maybe. Canadians playing their best ball now.
Canada, yeah, they're dominating this tournament now.
We'll see if Argentina has anything against them. Argentina will have to face Mexico tomorrow. And the Canadians will play a Dominican Republic team, Carlos, that really they should be able to handle. The Dominicans will be desperate. They have to win that game. Canadians in control right now with a big win over the host, Mexico, as Mexico won the second half by a single point. Extraordinary shooting by Canada.
From 2-point range, from 3-point range, and free throws also. Wow, what about Mexico? Mexico went to the free throw line once in the game for 2 shots.
22 assists on 34 shots for Canada. Again, a sign that they're learning the FIBA game. When you're up above the 60-65% range of your baskets being made easier by an assist, that's the FIBA game. That's exactly what the Canadians are learning. Another sign, Carlos, not as dramatic as the last 2 games where 7 Canadians scored in double figures. We had a total of 4 today scored in double figures, with a couple threatened to get into that scoring category. The spread offense, shared offense.
That's right.
Where a player can sit down. Olynyk sat down most of the game last time. You can have players just simply sit down, not perform. Anthony Bennett only 16 minutes in this game. No problem. No sweat. Great. We can rest for the next game. That's the FIBA game. The Canadians are beginning to master it with a team that averages 23.8 years on average. 94-73. Canada with a resounding victory. Decided at the end of the first half. Their largest lead in the first half. At the end, a 22-point game. And Andrew Wiggins again playing within control, within a role, and still getting his points.
Paco Cruz tried to do his best to keep Mexico within distance with his long shot.
ended up with 13 points as the top scorer for Mexico. Canada's been great at guarding the
once again in the second half. This time was too long.
And how do you stop? If you're Juan Anderson or Scaramouche, you can stop one guy and then wait. Had a nice game off the bench with 6 points and 7 boards. Again, the three-pointer began to emerge for Mexico as they missed finally getting a shot. The first half, you don't just struggle. And the putback and the third.
Yeah, they started running the court better in the fourth quarter of Mexico, so that forced them to go time. But after that, it was again back to business for Canada.
No sweat for the Canadians here in Mexico City. We'll be back tomorrow with the closing of the second round. On at stake, we could have a quintuple tie. 5 teams with 2 and 5 records. Tune in tomorrow. This is by any means. For Carlos Morales and the rest of the FIBA television crew, this is Alvaro Martin. Buenas noches. Good night from the Palacio de los Deportes and the 2015 Olympic qualifier in Mexico City.
Let's go, count 3, 1, 2, 3.